Welcome to my first casual geographic reaction. Today, we're learning about animals that got the middle finger from evolution. Enjoy! So we're watching, this is Casual Geographic. I forgot what the title was already, hold on. It is animals that got the middle finger from evolution. So they for real said, fingy. We love animals here. I can't wait to see about the evolution. Hopefully they don't hit us with the drop bears again. So let's see what he's gonna tell us.
Is a named Emily. That's it, that's the whole intro. Don't get me wrong, the concept of evolution's pretty cool. It's the reason giraffes get to flex their high in the entire animal kingdom. But there are just times where nature and evolution decide to team up and absolutely hoe an animal's entire existence. So here are 10 animals that I personally think got done the dirtiest. It's not exactly
Okay, I know the kiwi one is gonna be messed up, so I already know that one's rough.
order, but obviously some animals are going to get violated more flagrantly than others. And I say that because if this list were actually in order, the octopus would probably medal at the Oppression Olympics for, well, let me explain. Octopus are highly intelligent, and scientists believe they have the same cognitive ability as a 2-year-old human. Which might not seem impressive, but that means octopus are on the same IQ level as some dogs. They're even smart enough to use tools, whether it's using the tentacles of the venomous man-o-war as a weapon, which they actually do, or carrying a coconut around to keep as a travel-sized panic room.
Okay, that's really cute though. Look at him. That's kind of cute, Mr. Octopi. It's kind of cute. Yeah, it's kind of cute. Thank you, I appreciate it.
But being smart is the only thing they have going for them. First of all, most octopus come into the world as orphans. The mother octopus will spend months guarding and watching her nursery of up to 50,000 eggs. Since it's too dangerous to leave them alone, and since there's no daycare underwater, she often won't eat the entire time. Which means once the clutch of eggs are finally ready to hatch, the mother is shriveling, starving, and ready to become initials on a Twitter bio. Struggle doesn't end there. In fact, that's when it starts. These babies the size of a grain of rice have to figure out life in an ocean full of animals that'll actually try to put an end to it. It's so bad that out of the 50,000 children, if more than 2 survive to adulthood, it's considered overachieving.
That's crazy. So their birth or this okay. 50,000, the mother's starving, and 2 out of that 50,000 who are on their own, mind you, they're orphaned, okay, have to survive out in the wild. Well, I mean, hopefully they're smart as they're born as well. I hope so.
That honestly wouldn't be a big deal if nature didn't already nerf them with their lifespan. It's so ridiculously short that a majority of octopus species that live life to the fullest still won't be alive for their first birthday. Being an octopus means you can be born on New Year's, have a midlife crisis by June, only to be a memory by October. Giving an animal high intelligence just to cut its life after 1 to 2 years just seems like an intentional dick move. And because they have no shell or no armor, they'd honestly be lucky to live that long. Having no real way to defend themselves means a good number of them end up a sea lion's chew toy or a dolphin's frisbee. To be fair, octopus do have camouflage, in some cases highly toxic venom, but for the most part they get bodied by most of the ocean.
This is so sad. That's the grain of rice cooked by rice kind of easy meal. The poor little, yeah, 1 year lifespan. I thought I said up to 2, but so they're really intelligent, but they have, some of them are venomous, but they have no way of really protecting themselves. Mom Octo has 50k kids and you have to deal with all this for one. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for them. I didn't know they had that short of a lifespan either. I thought they lived a lot longer. 2 is overachieving. Yeah, assuming they don't get absolutely mauled in the wild from humans, from dolphins looking at you. What if I could solo 50,000 crates of rice? I just, I feel so bad.
To add insult to injury, every octopus you see is probably a virgin because once they get laid, they die. We already saw what happens to the mother, but where the daddy at? Once the male octopus mates, he basically just gives up on life. The male octopus that's catched in his V-card will swim around catatonically until he either gets torn apart by predators or dies of starvation as his body falls apart due to senescence. Not like it really matters because most female octopus are bigger than the males and sometimes they'll attack and cannibalize him during. But one thing's for sure, if his date doesn't put him out of commission, his post-nut clarity will. Octopus don't live long, but for the month.
Okay, so the mother pretty much starves after giving birth and the father's just kaput. Just deteriorates away. I don't know if he's going to read this, but octopuses have a relatively short life expectancy. Some species live for as little as 6 months. Octopus's reproductive organs mature due to the hormonal influence of the optic gland, but result in the inactivity of the digestive glands, typically causing the octopus to die from starvation. She drained him dry? That's, like, so messed up. That they said they could cannibalize them too? They have a level of intelligence that we as humans can't fully explain. Their problem-solving skills are incredible, and they've shown instances of being upset with owners or go on trips. Yeah, I've heard, like, some, like, stories with them, but that I kind of feel really bad for them. Talk about putting your whole self into the lovings. Yeah. Yeah, at least it's not like, was it the praying mantis? I think that bite the head off their partner. But dang. Oh.
Once they're alive, their entire existence is a jihad. Now you know why Squidward couldn't give a if a paid him. But at least with the octopus, it just seems to be really bad luck. They may be a victim of circumstance, but at least you get the idea that nature didn't go out of its way to screw them. Not like with this bird. Kiwi bird is probably the best proof that evolution ain't perfect. This tiny bird is actually part of the rat-type family. And this cookout includes ostriches, emus, cassowaries, and the rhea. But unlike its bigger cousins, this bird that shares its name with a fruit is about 18 inches tall and no more than 7 pounds. It's kinda like having cousins 6'3", 6'4", and 6'6", yet you came out looking like Tory Lanez. Like your family's tall enough to fit in an NBA locker room, yet you get it from a chair and stay the same height. But of course, nature wasn't done screwing with this bird because like its relatives, they can't fly. Totally flightless, and despite being related to ostriches, a Jurassic reject, and a bird that literally won a war against Australia, kiwi's about as defenseless as the fruit that got named after it.
Dang, rip kiwis, can't protect themselves. I know about the pregnancy problem. You eat kiwi skin on, you monster. I think the wildest story I've heard was the octopus that could break out of its tank, crawl across the room, and break into another fish tank to eat the fish before going back. Yeah, I've heard that story. I've heard that one. I haven't heard too much about kiwis besides, like, when they give birth, they lay eggs, right? The size of the egg is like as big as them. So that's all I know. But the fact that they're just, I mean, they're kind of cute looking though. He's kind of cute. I just want to pet his little face. But all right, let's see what terrors that evolution has done to this poor little guy.
Basically, you're looking at a bird that can't bird. The kiwi is such light work that they can only survive on islands without any mammalian predators because they're really a couple stray cats away from being put in the history books. And somehow, that's not it. Because nature shrunk everything about this bird. Everything except the eggs they have to push out of their body. Despite being about 60 times smaller, kiwis have to deal with eggs nearly the same size as an ostrich's. And at 20% of its body weight, that would be like the average woman birthing a 35-pound baby, with the same equipment. It's such a hell to live that the egg actually rearranges the bird's organs and stretches its rib cage. There's too many things wrong with them for me not to think nature had serious beef with this bird. Especially when you realize the kiwi's closest ancestor was the elephant bird, which was about 10 feet, 1,000.
I'm sorry, it's like birthing a 35-pound baby? It's the same size as an emu's egg, so 20% size of their body. That's actually insane. Yeah, I mean, I know babies mess with internal organs and bones, but to that extent is actually crazy work. Yeah, literally. So they gotta hatch out that thing nearly full grown, right? Yeah, that ain't a bun in the oven, it's the whole bakery. Nature's like, I'm F this bird so much I don't care about it. What did kiwis do to the world? What did kiwis do? I'd rather birth 35 1-pound babies, to be fair. Yeah, I think that would be, I'd rather have, you know, the 50,000 octopus babies, you know what I mean? Even if 2 of them survive, possibly. But, ow. Ow, poor kiwi moms, ow.
600 pounds. So yeah, they got nerfed bad. At least they didn't get hit as hard as, say, the sloth. For being completely honest here, the sloth has almost nothing going for it. Because they insisted on eating nothing but leaves, their diet makes them one of the slowest animals on the planet. Because they physically can't afford to spend energy they don't have, because going into debt would mean death. It's to the point where baby sloths have to quite literally hold on for dear life, because if it falls to the jungle floor, the mother likely won't waste the energy trying to get it back. And that's because if you're a sloth, leaving this tree is the most dangerous thing you'll ever do. Sloths only poop about once a week, and when they do, they'll climb out of the tree and get on the ground to do it. Why they don't just drop a deuce from the trees, I couldn't tell you. Nobody knows what goes on in their heads. But this...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, so their livelihood is up in the trees. I'm assuming because there's animals and things that will hunt them and such. That is not good for them. But why wouldn't they just poop from the tree? Floor is lava animal, except when it comes to pooping. Became small to avoid getting eaten by my people. Oh no. Okay, I know sloths are really slow. This is a very demonic looking sloth as well. It's kind of freaking me out. 90% is on the tree. Yeah, if the baby drops, they're just 07 baby, I guess. Good luck getting up on your own. That's kind of messed up. I guess they think I have to touch grass at least once a week. Imagine only pooping once a week. You don't poop where you live? Yeah, but you would poop off from where you live in safety. It's kind of just like the floor is your entire toilet. Because if you poop on something, I mean, I guess if you pooped on like something that could climb, you'd be kind of in trouble. But you just watch where you going. That's fine.
Means about half of all sloth deaths involve getting clapped on the toilet like Elvis. One thing sloths have going for them is that they're so mind-numbingly slow that algae actually grows on them, giving them free camouflage. But there's a catch. There is always a catch. When one of your biggest ops is an eagle with quite literally some of the best eyes in the world, wearing a moss blanket isn't gonna amount to too much.
Oh.
And you know evolution was actively f***ing with them because sloths are actually really good swimmers and can hold their breath for 40 minutes, longer than dolphins and seals. But it means almost nothing when most of the time they go swimming is by accident when they fall out of a tree. And that weak-ass doggy paddle might save them from drowning, but it won't save them from getting murked by an anaconda or a black caiman. But the really sad part is,
so they're really, really good at swimming. They hold their breath for 40 minutes, longer than dolphins. I missed the other one. But I ain't dying while pooping sloth. Having to be in uni eating nothing but instant ramen is not good for you. No, that does not sound good for you. But evolution really did mess them up. They made them super slow, decent swimmers, besides the fact that there's like crocodiles and things that can eat them. But like hanging their baby looking sloth. I'm assuming their claws don't even hurt them. This is the opposite of morpars. Morpars is, oh, these animals can attack you and haha, good luck human. This is the opposite. This is, oh, poor animals. Yeah, they're kind of cooked and evolution ain't helping them. Oh, God.
sloths could actually be way better than this. Its close relatives, the armadillo and anteater, are able to put the same claws that it has to good use, and anteaters have even been known to swing on jaguars. You have a homicidal vacuum cleaner that has put jaguars and people in coffins, and then you have a moss blanket with a face. Just like the kiwi, the sloth used to be better than this. Megatherium, aka the giant ground sloth, was in the same weight class as elephants, and they actually knew how to use those claws. So much so that if Ice Age were realistic, Sid would have worn Diego's ass like a fur coat. But its massive size ended up screwing it in the end, as they basically got hunted into oblivion by humans, leaving us now with the virtually defenseless, dead-eyed, slower than molasses algae apartment that we call the sloth. You know that thing on TV where it's like someone gets a gene?
What? So, sloths used to look like that? This is what they look like. Until they were hunted, and then just 07 they just gave up. Like, this thing looks like a beast. That's kind of messed. A mega sloth? Yeah, what the ham? Some of these critters are shocking to me. They're not already extinct. I'm shocked that they aren't extinct. Hunted into extinction? Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, this looks like it could mess up your day. Their cousins did? That's... Man, look how like cool they look. Imagine looking back on your ancestors and be like, yeah, you used to look like this. Now, 07, I guess. Alright.
As they basically got hunted into oblivion by humans, leaving us now with the virtually defenseless, dead-eyed, slower than molasses algae apartment that we call the sloth. You know that thing on TV where it's like someone gets a genie that grants wishes, but only does so in a way that horribly bends them over in the end, and the moral's supposed to be careful what you wish for? That basically sums up this next animal, because it looks like it got finessed by a genie in one of the most disrespectful ways possible. This is a fiddler crab. Male fiddlers have one giant brolic claw whose only purpose is to get a female's attention. Bee crabs choose their mate based on who has the biggest claw and therefore can pass the best genes to her clutch of eggs. The problem is, that is literally the only thing this claw is good for. Because that claw is too big to pick up food, the male fiddler crab can only feed himself with that smaller claw. That massive claw is actually a disability that means the males either eat half the food or take twice as long as the females. The only problem with that is that these crabs only eat during low tide, and the longer the crab spends eating, the more likely they are to end up as someone else's main dish.
So, they have this giant crab to impress their partner, but it's useless. The things we do for love, like, I'm flabbergasted. Like, oh yeah, look how big my claw is. Yeah, can't eat very fast though, and I can only eat during certain parts. You hear that, chat? Figure doesn't always mean better. Literal performative male energy. These poor crabs. I feel such whiplash from more bars to these poor crabs these poor little guys. Oh my goodness.
In the evolutionary arms race for female validation, the male fiddler crab is more likely to end up getting eaten by gulls, raccoons, reptiles, and sometimes even bigger crabs. And since the females enable this by being attracted to the bigger but less functional claws, the fiddler is now trapped in a vicious cycle. By preferring males with a trait that quite literally gets them put on a shirt, the females indirectly screw the next generation. Gotta be careful what you wish for, especially if you're this next animal. Because the peacock has a...
Okay, I feel bad for the crab. Literally can't even use it. It's not even to like attack or defend or anything. It's just like, woo, yeah, look at my big meaty claw. You're like my big arm. I can't lift it at all. I use my hand or eat with it, but it's cool, right? Can't stop focusing on how he moves his mic in a circle, send help. Yeah, I get distracted by that too. It's okay, TJ. They're literally suffering from excess. It's like being jacked out of your mind, but you can't lift a piece of paper. It's like, dang. Girls always want what kill me. It's crazy work. It's a definition of doesn't matter. Oh no. Oh, okay. I know very little about the peacock. I know it's very flashy and the males are the pretty colorful ones, and that's about all I know. Let's see. How did evolution say? Heck you.
Same problem on steroids. We can all agree that the peacock is the biggest flexor in the animal kingdom, and rightfully so. And just like with the crab and basically every other aspect of life, bigger is most certainly better. The more colorful and eye-catching, the better the peacock's chances at bagging a pea hen. They'll even shimmy their tail feathers in a way that hypnotizes any female watching. But like I said, never make a deal with a genie. Because the good news is a peacock showing off will always be the center of attention. Bad news is sometimes that attention comes from a 700-pound assault weapon with stripes. And because those...
I never even thought about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're literally just a target for tigers and other things that could hunt. Oh, okay. Oh man. Oh, yep. Attention. Yep. I never would have thought. I'm like, how did they, yeah, imagine trying to rizz up a mate and then all of a sudden it's like, whoop, now you're dinner. Can attract a mate, can't hide from predator. Yeah, he's kind of 07. Peacock's so cool though, like how evolution make that happen. They're very pretty. Like even if you look at one of the feathers, they're so pretty. Again. Man, the things people do for love.
Tail feathers are so heavy, not only can't the peacock see behind itself, even if it does see death coming, it takes them longer to get off the ground and out of the tiger's reach. Just like with the crab, the peacock's biggest flex is often what gets it buried. In a cruel twist from fate, the peacocks that are safer from tigers are usually the ones that get less attention from females. So by having a preference, the peahens doom their future children to a fate of ultimately ending up as a tiger's toothpick. The peacock and fiddler both got handed massive L's from nature, but at least you can see the thought process behind it. Having huge claws and fancy feathers attracts females, so technically it does serve a purpose. In comparison, the Luna moth got...
Okay, moths. Yeah, the poor crab and peacocks, man. Are like the prime example of sexual selection impacting evolution. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, the things we do for love. Crazy. Like, the lunar moth can't be that bad, right? It looks... See, look at the little antennas that the moth has. They look so fluffy. Oh no, not this. Oh no. All right, they're taking L's. I forgot. Okay, come on, lunar moth, you got this. I should call her. This one can't be that bad, right? It's just flashy for, not for mating, right?
Shafted for no reason at all. To make a long story short, adult Luna...
VOD gang swinging by, show a bit of appreciation. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Space. Oh my goodness, we're poor animals. We're crying over them.
Moths don't have a mouth and therefore can't eat. The only thing keeping them alive is the energy they store as caterpillars, but once that runs out, so does their time. Luna moths live for about a week, just long enough to reproduce and doom their children to the same fate of a non-consensual hunger strike. If you ask Google why the Luna moth does...
It doesn't have a mouth? Why does a Luna moth have no mouth? The adult has no mouth. Its sole purpose is to mate, so it does not eat or have a digestive tract. The Luna moth gets its name from the word Luna, which means moon. Luna moths born close to autumn will overwinter in their cocoon and emerge the following spring. So no smoochies? No, zero smoochies. You don't even get to taste the sweet, sweet taste of delicious food. I have no mouth and I must scream. That's so sad. Oh my gosh.
Doesn't have a mouth, it'll tell you because its only purpose is to mate. Which is really nature not giving a fraction of a about them. Yeah, that's cruel. Question is, what could possibly be crueler? Well, if you know what this is, you probably have the answer.
It can't be much worse than not having a mouth, right? I don't know this thing. I don't know what this is. It doesn't look really friend-shaped in my opinion. It's very bug-oriented, but I'm already feeling bad. Not this one is much worse. It's so much worse. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's much worse. Okay. Get ready to cry, chat.
This is a sea louse. It's a member of the Caligidae family of copepods, which is basically just a bunch of small crustaceans. You probably noticed that for the peacocks and the crabs, it was the guys getting the worst of it. Apparently nature believes in a weird form of equality because right now it's up for the girls. The horror show starts when a male sea louse kidnaps a much smaller female and then forcibly drags her into what I can only describe as a crustacean sex dungeon, where he can have up to 20 other victims also trapped. It's at this moment where this movie loses its rating because the male will forcibly impregnate every last female in his burrow, and this often involves penetrating her abdomen. But don't worry, it gets worse. As her brood of children that
What do you mean it gets worse? What? What? So it kidnaps... okay, and it gets worse. Thanks for the heads up. Okay, well... alright, it still gets worse. Can't wait.
she never asked for begin to grow, they decide to start eating their way out. Eventually, the mother's body splits open as her nursery of psychopaths rush out of her now mutilated husk of a corpse. This might be one of the only times where the babies abort the mother. She doesn't even really get to give birth, her children just bring her death. You might be wondering why evolution would even give this nonsense the green light. Well, the newborn sea louse are entering an ocean full of danger, and having a full meal before they make it out on their own apparently increases their chance of survival. And by cannibalizing their own mother, it's basically a home-cooked meal. Somehow, this isn't even the worst birth on this list. That title
That's a thing? Yeah. That's how you show pregnant Yura. I'm really glad I'm not that louse. I'm really glad. The home cooked meal, yeah, it's surprise. It's you get to eat your mother. I feel bad for a little bug thing. I feel bad. Oh, not this. I know a little. If these are hyenas, I know a little bit about this one. Those poor little things. Blagetter nut, a hyena too. Yeah, I know a little bit about it. Let's. Boy, I love nature. I can't wait to find out more. Can't wait.
belongs to the hyena because straight up death is actually better than what they go through. Female hyenas evolved a pseudo-penis that's so similar to the real thing, it's actually difficult to tell males and females apart. This is actually a female. Only problem is, it's not just for show, they actually have to give birth to that thing, and yes, it's every bit as painful as you think. And just to somehow make it even worse relative to the mother's size, hyenas have to give birth to the largest cubs of any carnivore, and they have to do it through a penis. A good amount of first-time mothers don't even survive this, because the process involves rupturing and splitting open the pseudo to make it easier for the cub. But
yeah, that does not sound like a great time. Does not sound like a great time. Nope. No siree, don't even have one of those. You second caller again to the hyenas. Ooh, this is nightmare. This is nightmare fuel. Yeah, can't wait to learn what else. Ouch.
the cubs don't get it easy either. About 60% of hyena cubs will suffocate on the way out and become past tense before technically even joining the present. And you would think, because this directly affects the mother and the cub, that evolution would have patched this. But apparently nature and Lion King have something in common when it comes to doing hyenas dirty.
Yeah, just...
But if we're talking about an animal that got done dirty, this picture kind of speaks for itself. Matter of fact, this is probably...
Is it stabbing itself in the head? Hyena breaths are equal to horrifying both women and men. Yeah, why? Can we help hyenas out? Like, this one is already... So the tusks, horns, I think tusks are teeth, grows into its head. Cool. Can't wait to find out what this is.
Gonna be the thumbnail because this is nature at its grimiest. A lot of y'all probably knew this animal is coming just from reading the title, but for those of you that didn't, that was the skull of the Babirusa. It's a wild pig found in Indonesian islands like Sulawesi. If you already knew that, it's probably because of those teeth. Those tusks penetrate out of its snout only to do a complete 180 and head right back towards its face. If the male Babirusa can't wear down this hellish overbite or he doesn't lose them in a fight, then the teeth will end up growing right back into his head, penetrating the skull and ultimately piercing the brain.
So it's like a free lobotomy if it doesn't fight. So they're forced to fight to break off their tusks. I mean, short of a surgical removal, not much should be done for the hyena. Yeah, I don't think hyenas are going to be helped. But, like, stonks. Yeah, so you're just... for free? Yippee, I love when my teeth grow into my head. Wow.
The worst part of it all is that by the time it gets clapped by its own dental plan, the Babirusa's probably already had children and therefore passed on its bullshit to its kids. It's a lot like Parkinson's. Okay, hear me out. The problem with Parkinson's is that it usually develops late in life, usually around the age of 60. And patients can have it for years without being diagnosed. So by the time they do find out, it's possible they could have already had kids and grandkids that they could have passed it off to. See the problem, right? The only good thing is that it's somewhat rare for a child to inherit Parkinson's from their parents. The Babirusa, not so lucky. And as long as females find big tusks attractive, and as long as the tusks only murk them after they've had babies, this pig is going to be screwed eternally and evolution can't even stop it. But when you talk about being sodomized by the fleshy phallus of nature, you're probably talking about cheetahs. If you watch Zoo, if you're watching...
So, they're just cooked, again, because the women in that species just love the giant tusks. The things we do for love, am I right? I just want to just... free teeth growing right into my brain. I love that for me. I love that so much. Me when my teeth grow into your head. You know how terrifying it would be if we had teeth that like went all the way up? Yeah, just game over. Pacifist piggy going to auto lobotomy. Why is nature like this? First I'm terrified of nature and now I feel bad. I feel really bad. So long as you survive until reproducing, nature doesn't give... Yeah, it doesn't care. Literally, now I understand why the title is like the middle finger to everything. If my teeth start making my vision even worse, I will fight. Yeah, that's true. They can't even really see if it's blocking their vision. Man.
By the fleshy phallus of nature, you're probably talking about cheetahs. If you watch Zoo, if you're watching this, you probably do. You probably heard him say that cheetahs are F-tier garbage that either need to be buffed or just vaulted out of their misery. I love cheetahs, I really do, but out of every animal on this list, evolution might have bodied the cheetah the hardest, and for one simple reason.
No, not cheetahs. Well, I thought they were supposed to... That's why they're named cheetahs, because they do be cheating, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you play poker with cheetahs? That's the whole... What happened to them?
Cheetahs are really fast. That is all they have. Cheetahs are a textbook example of why you should never dump all your evolution points in one skill, because you'll just get bent over in every other aspect of life. Because they're built for speed and absolutely nothing else, cheetahs often get bullied by other predators, especially lions and hyenas. And because cheetahs have to expend so much energy just to make a kill, it forces them to rest right after, which makes it really easy for other animals to just step in and run their pockets. But for real, if you're a cat and a bird that literally only eats the dead is able to run you off, you got a lot of problems. Worst part is, cheetahs could easily avoid all of this. Leopards are also lightweight solitary hunters that occasionally get their food stolen, but they're able to carry their kills up in trees where they can't get harassed by scavengers. But in the evolutionary race for speed, cheetahs evolved non-retractable claws to use as cleats to keep traction while running. Which is why cheetahs can't climb trees, so they gotta get violated on the ground. Cheetahs are such pushovers that one hyena can successfully rob several cheetahs right in their face and then dare them.
Well, that's one positive thing for hyenas. They could take from Cheetah. Yeah, this is, you know the anime Bullfurry where she puts all the stats into defense? So that's kind of like cheetahs, but they just put it all into speed. So that's cool. Yeah, we're just nerfing the Cheetos. That's why they had to start selling cheese-covered puff snacks. It all makes sense now. She doesn't have a single horrific thing going wrong. They just have a sad build overall. They just run fast. Bullfurry is a great anime. Hyena can live long enough to overcook the hot dog. Hyenas are really cool. Just have that one dangling thing nerfing them. I mean, that's a pretty big nerf. But for if the girl wasn't scared of getting hurt and had to sugar rush or something, yeah, one funky little energy drink and zoom. They're also really inbred. Man, poor cheetahs. I mean, they would still take down a human, I'm sure. We'd still lose, but man.
To do something about it. Cheetahs compromised everything for speed, so now they get to speed run through life. About 70% of cheetah cubs born in the wild will be 6 feet under before their first birthday. And just to add on to that, because
no, look at his little face. They won't even make it to 1. No.
Why the hell not? Thanks to genetic bottleneck, a majority of the cheetah population is highly inbred. What you're looking at,
well, there it is.
that is a cat that doesn't really know how to cat. Because instead of roaring like lions, tigers, and leopards, the best this spotted doormat can do is chirp like a bird. Matter of fact, if you YouTube it real quick, you'll find they make every sound that isn't a roar. And that's how you know evolution went out of its way to them.
Oh, but it's so cute. What if they were just making bird sounds to catch birds? What? Well, they're just trying to catch birds. What? Not win against a cheetah? I don't know. They're too scared of us to attack us in the wild to actually curl up with you because the other things are terrified of you. I just saw a comment says to help them, we should just keep them as pets. You know what? I agree. Maybe we should just start taking in cheetahs. What are they going to do? Run around the house? Well, they just have a lot of energy. Just give them like a wide open... I mean, I don't want to encage a wild animal, but like... Man, lion packs also the leading male drives all male children away to keep the females to himself. So what do you think happens as female children? Oh no. Oh no. Cheetahs are big, small cats like you. Hello? I'm catching strays here? They cosplay as honey badgers when they're young to make predators think twice. Aww. They need support dogs. I never knew cheetahs were... Oh my god. I just want to hug a cheetah now. What the ham?
Cheetahs have been around for about 3 million years and decided they were just gonna IM speed their way through life. And because of that, unless it's a 100-meter dash or a bird call contest, this overgrown house cat loses every single time. Obviously, there's a lot of good things about the cheetah, but not nearly enough to justify the abuse they go through. Which is probably why a majority of cheetahs in captivity experience severe anxiety so bad that it prevents them from mating and they need an emotional support dog. Which is cute, don't get me wrong, but it's another reason why cheetahs are dangerously close to being the pandas of cats, and that's not something anyone wants to be. And don't get it twisted, I don't enjoy roasting cheetahs, I actually really love them, but if nature has favorites, this Cheeto's mascot isn't one of them. And those are 10 animals that got the middle finger from evolution. I'm gonna
let him finish his closing statement, but they're just like us for real. Oh, cheetah zoomies at 2 AM would go crazy. Yeah, cheetah emotional support puppies multiply their cuteness by like 10. I too also need an emotional support puppy. Well, I feel like wild domesticated cats have more of, well, I guess that's counterintuitive. I guess wild cats have more of a chance than cheetahs. Lion King seems different after realizing Simba and Nala are likely siblings. I mean, I kind of got those vibes anyway. Who doesn't need an emotional support animal? Yeah, for real. All right, I'm gonna let him finish the rest of his video.
Gonna lie to you, this video was low-key a pain to make. So if you like the video and you'd like to support this channel, my Patreon's gonna be in the description, but please,
okay, support him.
Please, don't give money if you can't afford it. Because honestly, I don't need money, I just wanted to cover my crippling Wendy's addiction. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, so think about it.
Subscribe to his channel, subscribe, do it gamers, do it. Okay, well, now I'm sad. Now I'm sad. Now I'm just sad. Those poor animals. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any recommendations for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.